the opposition leader, John Pesutto. Are you back in the game now with the departure of Daniel Andrews?
Well, thanks, Kieran. Look, I'd like to think that my colleagues and I have worked pretty hard over recent months, Kieran, particularly from the budget, then the Commonwealth Games and various corruption reports that seem to mount by the day. And we expected that the Premier would resign at some point. He was under an enormous amount of pressure. But let's make no mistake, while I recognise, Kieran, the Premier's service in the Victorian Parliament for 21 years and 9 as Premier, he's leaving because things under his government are completely falling apart and the state is broke, as many of your listeners and viewers know.
So much as in terms of your chance, and I'm sure you agree with me on this, your chance at the next election is going to be how you are able to keep your party together, unified. Can you do it?
Absolutely, Kieran, and we showed recently with an actual result in Warrandyte where the primary vote went up by 10% because we ran a really strong campaign off the back of Commonwealth Games and various tax hikes in Victoria and corruption reports. We brought it all together and we laid it all out for the people of Warrandyte, and they came to us in larger numbers. And what that's told us, Kieran, as an opposition party, is that we focus on our A game, we will win. But today's result really is a reflection of a lot of that pressure that the Premier has been under. And why is that? It's because, Kieran, sooner or later the truth catches up with you, and all of the promises that Daniel Andrews was making, they were all hoaxes and cons, whether it was the Commonwealth Games, whether it was his housing statement, whether it was the SEC, whether he was going to serve out the full term. It doesn't really matter. Sooner or later the truth catches up with you, and I think it got all too much.
Whoever it is, though, that takes over, whether it be Jacinda Allen or, as most expect it will be, they've got a huge task ahead of them to rebuild to build their profile in the face of what has been someone who's dominated the political space in Victoria. So for you, this is a huge opportunity. You've got 3 years to try and make yourself competitive.
Yeah, look, and we're working on that every day to be the most effective opposition we can be and working towards being that alternative government that I know we will be when it comes to the 2026 election. But, Kieran, I think it's important for our viewers, particularly around the country, to know Jacinda Allen, if she does succeed Daniel Andrews as Labor leader and Premier, we have to remember she's a co-author in all of the debacles, whether it's major projects blowing out and behind schedule, whether it was the Commonwealth Games debacle. She sat around that cabinet table all these years with Daniel Andrews. She's helped make some of the worst and most costly decisions. So nothing will really change under Jacinda Allen. If it's Ben Carroll, we haven't seen a lot of Ben Carroll in his ministerial portfolio, but what I can say, Kieran, what we have seen hasn't been great. And whether it's the Mikey ticketing contract or his absence on the stage generally, it's hard to know how he would fare in this role.
Almost out of time, but just quickly, any positive reflections or compliments you might have for the outgoing Premier?
Yeah, look, Kieran, I think we've got to be, we're all reasonable. Public life has huge demands on each of us, which we accept when we go into public life. And just about all of us have family and friends who share the highs and lows with us. And I know that for Daniel and his family, the last 21 years would not always have been easy. There would have been highs, of course. But I recognise the service he's given to the Victorian people. I strongly disagree with the decisions he's made, and I have concerns about the actual legacy. But I do wish him all the very best for the future, Kieran.
John Pesutto, we'll be talking a lot, I think, over the next 3 years. I appreciate your time today. Thank you.
Anytime, Kieran.